Welcome back to Money Mastery Now, the channel that helps you take control of your money, one smart habit at a time. If you want to master your budget, crush debt, and build lasting wealth, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Think rich people spend money on everything they want. Think again. The truth is, wealthy people often become wealthy, not because they make more money, but because they spend it differently. They don't chase every trend. They don't buy something just because they can, and they're not interested in impressing people with flashy purchases. Instead, they protect their money. They think long-term, and they make spending decisions that align with freedom, value, and control, not impulse. Most of us are taught to believe that rich people always fly first class, drive brand new luxury cars, eat at five-star restaurants, and upgrade every year to the latest phone. But the truly wealthy, they're often doing the opposite. They avoid the very expenses that many people see as normal. And that's the difference. Because while others are buying liabilities, they're buying assets. While others are proving their lifestyle, they're building their legacy. In this video, we'll uncover 10 specific things that wealthy people deliberately avoid spending money on. And more importantly, we'll explore the mindset behind those decisions and how applying them in your own life could be the key to building real, lasting wealth. Let's get into it. Thing number one that wealthy people avoid spending on: flashy status symbols. We're talking about luxury cars, designer watches, and the newest, most expensive handbags, just to prove a point. Now, let's be clear. It's not that rich people can't afford these things. They absolutely can, but that's exactly why they don't chase them. They understand this truth. When you're secure in your wealth, you don't need to show it. The people who are constantly flashing their money, bragging about their stuff, and wearing their wealth on their sleeves, more often than not, they're not the ones with real financial freedom. There's a phrase you might have heard before: rich is quiet, broke is loud. And it's true. Wealthy people value freedom over flash. They'd rather buy assets that grow in value than liabilities that just shine in the moment. Instead of dropping $70,000 on a brand new car that loses value the second it leaves the lot, they might invest that money into stocks, real estate, or a business, instead of buying a $10,000 watch to impress people they barely know. They're watching their net worth compound in silence. The goal isn't to look rich. It's to be rich quietly, confidently, and intentionally. If your money is going toward things that only impress others, you're not building wealth. You're renting a lifestyle. So if you're serious about financial freedom, you've got to ask yourself, do I want to look successful today or actually be successful tomorrow? Coming up next, we'll look at another habit the wealthy avoid, one that seems harmless, but slowly eats away at your budget. Let's talk about dining out too often. Thing number two that wealthy people avoid spending too much on: frequent dining out. Now this might surprise you, because when we think of the rich, we picture them eating at high-end restaurants, ordering takeout whenever they want, and never worrying about the bill. But here's the reality. The truly wealthy don't eat out just because they're too tired to cook. They don't treat restaurants as a default option every day. They treat them as a treat, not a habit. Wealthy people understand that those small, repeated costs add up fast. A $20 lunch here, a $30 dinner there. Do that 5 times a week, and you're spending hundreds, sometimes thousands a month on convenience. And that's the key word: convenience. Dining out is not just about the food. It's about speed, comfort, avoiding effort. And that convenience comes at a cost. Rich people know that convenience can quietly drain your finances without you noticing. That's why they build routines around eating at home. They meal prep. They plan their groceries. They learn basic cooking skills, not because they have to, but because they know it gives them control. Control over their health, control over their time, and most importantly, control over their spending. They might still enjoy a great restaurant, but it's intentional. It's budgeted. It's not driven by laziness or impulse. So if eating out is your daily habit, ask yourself, am I paying for the food or just avoiding the effort? The next time you feel tempted to order takeout for the third night in a row, remember, wealth is built in the small decisions, not just the big ones. Up next, we'll talk about something almost everyone upgrades too often: tech gadgets, and why the wealthy usually don't. Thing number 3 that wealthy people often avoid spending on: the latest tech gadgets. We live in a culture that's obsessed with upgrades. A new phone every year, a newer laptop, the latest smartwatch, the next generation of everything. But here's the truth. Just because something is new doesn't mean it adds real value. Rich people know that. They don't rush out to buy the newest iPhone the day it's released. They don't upgrade their laptop just because it's 12 months old. They use their tech until it no longer does the job it's meant to do, because to them, technology is a tool, not a trophy. They ask one simple question: does this still serve its purpose? If the answer is yes, they keep it. No shame, no fear of missing out, no pressure to keep up with anyone else. That mindset protects their money and keeps their focus on what really matters: function, not fashion. You don't need the latest camera specs to send emails. You don't need the most expensive tablet to stream YouTube or read ebooks. And spending $1,000 just to shave off a half-second app load time, that's not smart, it's reactive. Wealthy people are intentional. They upgrade when there's real benefit, not just because it feels exciting in the moment. So before you tap pre-order on that next big launch, ask yourself, is this solving a real problem for me, or just feeding a habit? The next section dives into something that hides in plain sight: recurring payments that silently drain your bank account. Let's talk about subscriptions and memberships. Thing number 4 that wealthy people avoid wasting money on: unused subscriptions and memberships. These are the silent killers. $10 here, $12 there, maybe $30 for a gym you haven't been to in months. And because they're automated, you don't feel the pain, but your bank account does. Wealthy people know that recurring expenses are often more dangerous than one-time purchases. Why? Because they accumulate quietly. You forget about them. They blend into the background. But over time, they drain hundreds, sometimes thousands a year. That's why rich people audit their subscriptions on a regular basis. They ask, when was the last time I used this? Is it adding real value to my life? And if not, they cancel. No hesitation, no guilt. Streaming services, premium apps, delivery memberships, online courses, gym fees. If it's not being used, it's not being paid for. This is a mindset. It says, every dollar I spend should have a job, and if that subscription isn't doing its job, it's gone. They treat money like a business does, reviewing monthly expenses, cutting waste, protecting profit. So here's your challenge. Look at your bank statement for the last 30 days. Highlight every recurring charge. Then ask, am I actually using this? Because wealthy people don't fear cutting back. They fear wasting potential. Next, we'll look at another area where spending gets inflated fast, and the wealthy know how to keep it in check. Let's talk about luxury vacations and why rich people often avoid overspending on them. Thing number 5 that wealthy people avoid spending money on: overpriced luxury vacations. Let's be clear. Rich people travel. They explore the world. They take breaks. But here's the difference. They travel smart. They don't spend $10,000 just to post beach photos on Instagram. They don't take trips during peak season, when prices are inflated by 50% or more. Instead, they choose value over vanity. They book flights months in advance. They use travel rewards and miles. They compare prices. They pick quality stays, not just the most expensive resorts. Why? Because for the wealthy, a vacation is about the experience, not about impressing others. They're not trying to prove anything. They don't chase luxury for the sake of it. They want meaningful time with family, new perspectives, and memories that last longer than the vacation itself. You'll rarely see them splurging on a 900 per night suite just to say they did. Instead, they might rent a modest villa, cook some meals in, and spend more on experiences, like a private tour or a cultural class, because they know what you remember isn't the hotel room, it's the sunset, the laughter, the conversations. So next time you plan a trip, ask yourself, am I doing this to recharge, or am I doing this to show off? Wealth isn't about spending big, it's about spending with purpose. Coming up next, let's look at one more sneaky expense rich people often dodge, and that's buying every trending product they see online. Thing number 6 that rich people avoid spending money on: fancy cars that lose value fast. Here's a financial fact most people ignore. Cars are one of the fastest depreciating assets you can buy. The moment you drive a brand new car off the lot, it loses up to 20% of its value. In just 5 years, most cars lose over half their original price. So while many chase the newest model, the luxury badge, and the attention it brings, the wealthy think differently. They know a car is a tool, not a trophy. Many millionaires, yes, even multimillionaires, drive used cars. They buy 1 or 2 years old. Let someone else take the depreciation hit. And they often pay cash. Why? Because they understand that value isn't in leather seats or fancy emblems. It's in keeping more money in your investments, your business, your long-term goals. Warren Buffett, one of the richest people in the world, drove the same modest car for years. He could buy any car on earth, but he doesn't chase status. As the saying goes, the car should take you places, not carry your ego. So before you upgrade to impress, ask yourself, do I want to look rich or be rich? Coming up next, we'll cover a spending trap that hides in plain sight and drains your bank account little by little every single month. Thing number 7 that wealthy people avoid spending money on: big houses they don't actually need. Sure, owning a massive house looks impressive from the outside. But what most people forget is this: a bigger house means bigger bills. We're talking higher property taxes, larger utility bills, more expensive maintenance, and more time and money to clean, repair, and manage. Rich people don't just ask, can I afford it? They ask, does this make financial sense long term? They understand that extra square footage often adds more stress than value. A 4-bedroom home with 2 empty rooms. That's not wealth. That's wasted money. Instead, the wealthy optimize their living space. They buy homes that fit their actual lifestyle, not homes that inflate their ego. They focus on function, not footprint. They prefer quality of life, not the illusion of status. And when they do upgrade, it's often for things that add true value: energy efficiency, better location, or features that improve daily life. Here's the mindset shift. Your home should support your goals, not slow you down. Before signing up for a bigger mortgage, ask yourself, are you buying a dream or a burden? Next up, let's talk about a common money leak, disguised as convenience, and why rich people steer clear of it. Thing number 8 that wealthy people avoid spending money on: trendy fashion and fast fashion. Rich people don't chase the latest trends. They don't buy clothes just to stay in style for a few weeks. Instead, they invest in timeless pieces, clothing that's durable, versatile, and built to last. Think classic cuts, neutral tones, and high-quality materials. They know that chasing fashion trends leads to constant spending. One trend ends, another begins. Your closet gets full, but your wallet gets empty. Instead of buying 5 cheap items, they'll buy one great piece. That works in many situations and lasts for years. It's not about wearing the same thing every day. It's about building a functional wardrobe that reflects confidence, not hype. And here's the thing. Fast fashion might look affordable, but over time, it costs more. Why? Because you buy more, you replace more, and you waste more. The wealthy understand this. They dress with intention, not for validation. As they say, dress for function, not to impress. Up next, another area where rich people hold back their spending, while others burn through cash without even noticing. Thing number 9 that wealthy people avoid spending money on: paying full price. You might assume that rich people don't care about discounts. After all, they can afford it, right? But here's the truth. Being wealthy doesn't mean being wasteful. Most wealthy individuals are actually strategic spenders. They take time to find the best deal. They use cashback programs. They look for promo codes. They negotiate when possible. It's not about being cheap. It's about being intentional. When booking a hotel, they check comparison sites. When buying electronics, they wait for sales. When shopping online, they use browser extensions that find the lowest price. Many even stack rewards, credit card points, loyalty programs, referral bonuses, and limited time offers. Because over time, saving 10 to 20% on everything adds up to thousands of dollars. And here's the key mindset. They never see it as a waste of time. They see it as respecting their money. Being rich isn't about showing off how much you can spend. It's about knowing when to spend and when to save. And wealthy people never feel too proud to do the math. Up next, an expense that drains people's money without them even realizing it. But rich people know to steer clear of it completely. Thing number 10 that wealthy people avoid spending money on: trying to impress others. This might be one of the biggest mindset differences between those who stay broke and those who build lasting wealth. Most people spend money to be seen. Seen driving the newest car, wearing the latest designer brand, vacationing at the trendiest spot. But wealthy people, they don't care about outside validation. They care about freedom. They use their money to buy time, peace of mind, and opportunities that grow in value. Instead of chasing the next flashy trend, they focus on what truly serves them. Because here's the truth. When you spend money to impress others, you're letting strangers control your financial future. Wealthy people don't let social media, peer pressure, or outdated expectations dictate their choices. They ask, does this purchase move me closer to my goals? Will this actually add long-term value to my life? Am I buying this because I want it or because I want to be seen? If the answer doesn't align with their purpose, they walk away. That's the real flex. Not showing off what you can afford, but choosing not to spend just to keep up appearances. Because when you stop spending to impress, you start building real financial strength. And that's how rich people stay rich. So, what's the big takeaway from this video? Wealth isn't built by earning more. It's built by spending wisely. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you do with the money you keep. The rich don't stay rich because they splurge. They stay rich because they're intentional. Because they know every dollar has a purpose. They avoid waste, distractions, and anything that doesn't add real value to their lives. And here's the good news. You don't have to be rich to start thinking like the rich. Start by adopting even one of the habits we shared today. Rethink that flashy purchase. Cancel that subscription you don't use. Buy time, not just things. Because if you want to build wealth, you've got to start thinking like someone who already has it. And if this video helped shift your mindset, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who's ready to spend smarter. Your financial future isn't built on what you earn. It's built on what you keep. Let's build it wisely.